So because the Catholic kings at this time were very, very much interested in what their Pope had to say, the Pope at the time was named Innocent IV. And he concluded that they didn't have a right to come into other people's lands and just take over. And this was way before Isabel and Ferdinand. Like, this was way before any of them were around. This dude, Innocent, said, you know what? People in their own lands have a right to exist, but spiritually, human beings are subject to the rule of Jesus Christ. This is from Dr. Emily's paper. So the Pope claimed their spiritual jurisdiction over all humans, who were consequently divided into two groups. So Christians already part of the church and everyone else. He stated that infidels or people outside of the Catholic Church simply living under their own rules in their own societies were not in violation of any natural law. Therefore, invading their territory, enslaving them, and seizing their lands was not sanctioned. In other words, it was not okay to do. But of course, human beings will always find a way of screwing their neighbors. So they got themselves a new political party. Pope Benedict VII in 1403 gave out a bull, remember a bull, an important document from the Pope, saying that now the invasion of the Canary Islands was a religious war. They were trying to convert these heretics. And now, under the laws of a religious war, they were game for being captured and enslaved. The only way that they could escape enslavement was to convert to Catholicism. But you know what the funniest thing was? That they would read these declarations to these native people who didn't speak a lick of Spanish, saying in Spanish, if you accept our God, blah, 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 you will be treated respectfully and you will be equal part in the government or equal part citizen as a subject. But they didn't understand any of that. Like, it was ridiculous. Even people, contemporaries, people living during the time were like, this is this is stupid. Why are you reading that to them? They don't understand it. The pressure was on. And they just continued to just change political parties using the popes. So this one was Pope Eugene IV. In 1434, he reinforced the bull, or the important document, right? Saying that you couldn't enslave these native peoples, okay? And if they did, they would risk excommunication. And in their eyes, excommunication meant being sent to hell. And because these islands had already been conquered, or most of it, right, by 1434, he said that the islands that had already received the word of the gospel could not be touched. They could not enslave these people. However, those that hadn't received the missionary effort were fine. So Eugene, quote unquote, said, one and all who attempted to capture or sell or subject to slavery any baptized residents of the Canary Islands could be excommunicated. Also explained why he put this in place. Some Europeans, so this is a quote, some European Christians have approached the islands by ship and with armed forces taken captive and even carried off to lands overseas. Many persons of both sexes taking advantage of their simplicity, and worse, others were even at times tricked and deceived by the hope and promise of baptism and then sold into perpetual slavery. So by 1462, Pope Pius II realized that the European slave trade was inhibiting the conversion of Catholicism with the natives. So he said, whether they are from the Canaries or Guinea, from sub-Saharan Africa, they will have their freedom restored to them. He said that the Europeans had to free their slaves between 20 days or risk excommunication.